Hi everyone, welcome to another one of our CX conversations. I'm Tim McMillan, Director of E-commerce here at Candy Space, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Christian from Computacenter. Christian, you want
Hi.
to just introduce yourself and tell a few words about your role at Computacenter?
Yes, of course. So my name is Christian Traud. I'm the group head of e-commerce and custom integrations at Computacenter. We are a global IT service provider with a large presence in Europe and the Americas, headquartered in the UK, so we're a British company. And our customer focus is on large private and public sector organizations, for which we deliver everything around IT. So we are a real one-stop shop when it comes to IT. And in terms of my role, I've been in the IT industry for over 20 years, 15 of which I was working in an e-commerce related role. And currently I'm in a global responsibility for e-commerce at Computacenter. And part of this function are teams that focus on the design and implementation of e-commerce solutions for our customers. Another part focuses on the operations of these solutions, and also the further development of our e-commerce capability forms part of my responsibility.
Christian, you guys are one of the pioneers of B2B e-commerce. You've been helping customers to self-service and order directly for over 20 years, and I think you yourself personally have overseen a number of e-commerce replatforming initiatives during that time.
That's
So,
right.
first question is, what's the best outcome you've seen from e-commerce replatforming over your time at Computacenter?
Right. Whilst there was nothing wrong with our old platform from a functionality point of view, there was one thing that really we couldn't achieve with that platform, and that was to actually get to the right customer experience that we were looking to get to, which was more, B2C like and more focused on what we were seeing in the consumer market, because that is, where the B2B market is developing towards. And that really is, the best outcome that we achieved out of the replatforming altogether, moving all that good functionality that we had on the old platform in a B2B style and converting it into something which was more B2C like, and that vastly improved, the usability of the platform for our users.
Okay, and if you cast your mind back to the time when you were shortlisting and choosing between e-commerce technologies to support you on that replatforming process, what were the key considerations you were looking for from an e-commerce platform?
Right. So, I mean, we obviously did the usual research, and sort of looking at market reports, and we're looking at, who is the leading platform in the market. That were certainly things, that we considered. But then there were as well other key considerations which were a bit more, tailored to us, like the flexibility and adaptability of a platform, because we consider ourselves quite unique in, the business processes that we use, and we obviously needed a platform who could actually, work with all those processes well. And what was also heavily influencing that decision is, quite frankly, our close relationship with SAP. As well as the fact that we have an SAP ERP system, which eventually led us to select, SAP Commerce Cloud for us as a platform. Simply because, of the great integration capabilities and the overall package, we got out of that.
And what do you think was the hardest thing overall to manage through that replatforming process?
That's a good question. I think the hardest thing for us was really to manage the complexity that exists for us in the backend, and not let it shine through to the end user in the usability and the way they interact with the platform. Because our business model has evolved over many, many years, and with it, a set of processes and systems, and all of these needed to be connected to this e-commerce platform. And quite easily, you can sort of slip into, then sort of things that sort of are not making sense from a user's perspective, but for us as a company, it makes complete sense. Mm-hmm. And that's something that was really hard, and I appreciate, that also you kept us honest on that, in terms of making sure we are not falling into that trap.
I remember all those difficult conversations very well.
Oh yes.
So, what do you think the impact has been on your team since you've replatformed?
Well, I think there was a quite deep impact in fact, considering as well our way of working with that e-commerce platform, because we don't deploy this as a highly standardized solution, but very much customized solution, customized solutions for each individual customer situation. And that in itself requires obviously quite a bit of knowledge about the platform itself, the technicalities and everything. And that is something that the team had to learn again with a new platform being introduced. And that I think was at the start challenging for sure. Also because they needed to think differently about, customer requirements that they were used to respond to in a certain way, which in the new platform, it all worked slightly differently. But I think in the end we succeeded, but that was a true challenge.
And obviously to make the replatforming successful, it's really important you get kind of like C-suite engagement and commitment to your vision for that. So can you remember the process you went through, or the things you did to get that buy-in or to demonstrate the value of replatforming to the wider leadership team?
Well, I mean, Computacenter is a true sales company. So for us, everything is, around our customers and the voice of our customers. And in order, to hear that quite clearly, we do conduct regular customer surveys, which originally indicated a need, for some changes, not necessarily replatforming, but changes in the way, we were basically presenting our e-commerce solution to them. And that is basically what we used as a measure, and what we used as a trigger initially, but then also to monitor, and see how, the changes that we derived from the feedback were actually resonating with our customers. And the feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and we're quite happy with that. Also, as a consequence out of that, and that is, more a secondary way of now sort of measuring that success. We do see an impact on our operational processes with that in terms of, uptake, on the customer side of that solution, less queries going into inside sales. So it also has positive effects there that we can actually measure and see, and that help as well demonstrating the value to our leadership team internally for sure.
Okay. And final question on the topic of replatforming. What are the qualities that you look for in an agency partner or an SI when you're selecting a partner to help you with that vision for replatforming?
Well, I think we were primarily looking for a partner who really was complementing the knowledge and expertise we believed to have ourselves. So really someone who, on the one hand, brings good knowledge to the table, but on the other hand also listens to what we have to say, because we are doing sort of what we do for a long time already, and also have, I think, a view in terms of what works well and how certain things should be done, but in certain aspects we are lacking knowledge, like particularly in the B2C space where I talked about, you know, the trend in B2B, and us just simply not knowing or not having sufficient knowledge about what good looks like in terms of customer experience from a B2C point of view. And this is where we were hoping, you know, to get some expertise out of that partnership, and then as well someone who in confidence, you know, sort of raises these ideas and that knowledge in conversations, you know, with us. Yeah.
Christian, it's been brilliant having you here with us today. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and insights on the topic of replatforming. I'm sure everyone's going to find it really useful.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you very much.